Walking isn't going to help you lose weight, but it's the number one thing I recommend to anybody who's starting on a weight loss journey, because for me, taking the first step outside on a walk was taking the first step into finding myself again. Hey, I'm Megan. I've lost 125 pounds since August 2023 on a GLP-1 medication and with a ton of hard work. I am a homeschool mom of 3. And I didn't just lose weight, I became the fittest, most healthy person that was beyond my wildest imagination. If you are on a weight loss journey and you haven't incorporated movement into your routine, here is your kick in the butt to get started. When I started walking in August 2023, I weighed 243 pounds. I wasn't fast, it wasn't easy, I wasn't wearing special shoes, I just started walking. Walking is something that is easily accessible for almost all of us. And when I say walking, I'm using that term loosely because when I was 243 pounds, walking was painful. I started every single day getting out of bed with feet aching, my knees cracking and aching. Just walking to the bathroom made my feet hurt, let alone thinking about walking anywhere in Texas in the summer. I would be profusely sweating, my thighs would be chafing. There were so many barriers to getting started with walking for me. And I think the key with getting started is to just do it. You have to be honest with yourself and find what is accessible and doable for you and not compare that with anybody else. What somebody else can do is completely irrelevant to what you can and need to do. You have to start where you are in a realistic way. Of course, you want to talk to your doctor and make sure that you are ready for physical activity, but walking is something that we're doing in daily life anyway. And so a stretch goal for you might look different than a stretch goal for your friend and your neighbor, and different from my stretch goal. So I'm going to share my story of how I got started with walking and when I started walking, I had to overcome a few barriers first. Number one was shoes. I could not tie my shoes. I did not have tennis shoes that worked for walking. So I had to go out and buy some shoes, and I bought Skechers slip-ons. Thank goodness they make shoes like that are amazing. I found that I could not wear socks without them completely cutting off my circulation on my ankles. I could not find any socks that worked. I even wore like men's socks and they just didn't work. My ankles were too fat and my circulation would get cut off. I would have a complete band around where the socks hit on my foot. And so I just decided I'm gonna wear the Skechers slip-ons without socks, and I'm gonna wash them every once in a while because they'll get stinky because it's sweaty outside. And that's what I did. I had to find something that worked so that I didn't have to worry about the shoe situation. So that's how I remedied the shoes. Number two is I had nothing to wear while walking. I didn't have any clothes that fit. I didn't have workout clothes. So I went and I bought myself one outfit that I got some like biker shorts that I could wear on my walks. And I got started with walking with just that. I didn't put a ton of thought into things. I know now you'll hear people rucking and doing weighted vests and thinking about, do you need electrolytes? And there's a lot of things that can go into walking, but I just wanted to get started and do it. So that's what I did. So I just set out to walk and do what I could do. So I live on a street that if I go around my block, it's about half a mile. It took me about 20 minutes to do that half mile. And it was hard. It was not easy. Again, I started this walking journey in the summer in Texas. So it is hot. I had to go first thing in the morning before the sun came out. I used a lighted vest so that I could go out even when it was dark because that was just cooler before the sun came out. So I started my walking journey with no preconceived notion and no goal about how far I was going to go, how fast I was going to go, what goal I was going to try to reach. I did not go into it thinking I wanted to walk a 5K. My goal was every day to wake up and walk. So what that meant is that the night before, I had to lay out my workout clothes. I had to get my shoes like ready to go so that I could slip my feet into them. And then I had a routine where I got out of bed, I went to the bathroom, I weighed myself naked, put on my workout clothes and put on my shoes, and then had to walk out the door. Like immediately, I have to walk out the door. If I do one other thing, it threw that off. So I stuck to that plan like religiously so that I could make my morning walk happen. And then I started with just that walk around the block. Eventually, that walk around the block felt okay, and I might try to do that after lunch. Eventually, I tried to do it also after dinner. Eventually, by the time I got around the block, I thought I could go a little further, so I went a little further. And little by little and incrementally, I built up where I was able to walk much longer distances, but I didn't want to put any pressure on myself to make that like a thing. I just wanted to let it unfold and let it happen. And I wanted to make sure I was challenging myself, but not discouraging myself by making it so hard that I didn't want to do it. Another barrier to walking when you're extremely obese, and especially if you are genetically gifted with a larger bottom half, is that my thighs rub together so bad. So investing in longer shorts that kept my thighs from rubbing together. I also used and love the Gold Bond anti-chafe stick. I had those stashed everywhere in my car, in my purse, in my house, in the backyard, so that I could reapply that at any time. But the biker shorts were really the key to making sure that my thighs weren't going to be getting a heat rash or any kind of rash while they're rubbing together on this walk, because they were rubbing together. That was definitely one of the things that helped me make it happen. Every person is going to have different barriers that are keeping them from getting started. So you just have to think, what are the barriers? Write it down, make a list, and think, how can I overcome these things? How can I solve these problems in a way that I can just get started and do it? And don't overthink it. Don't put too much thought into it. Just do it. Another thing I did to make walking a habit is I made it a destination event in my day. It was a time that I could listen to audiobooks, I could listen to podcasts, I could watch Hallmark movies, which I am obsessed with and I love, and I am a busy mom of 3. I don't have a lot of time to watch Hallmark movies. So if I go out walking, I can watch a movie while I'm walking. I don't necessarily recommend that. I have totally run into a trash can or parked cars, but it was what I needed to do to be able to keep that habit. And then once you start walking and you're hooked on a movie or you're hooked on a podcast, you want to keep going. You don't want to stop listening or stop watching. So it's easier to just keep going. And I always have podcasts queued up or audiobooks ready to go so that I am ready for my walks, and it makes it just this enjoyable experience that I'm looking forward to. I'm not dreading it. I'm not thinking, oh, I'm gonna get hot and sweaty. I really, really do look forward to that time. So I think for everybody, you can think of what would make it enjoyable for you. I know some of my neighbors love to I have one neighbor and she calls her mom every day on her walk, and she just is gabbing with her mom for like an hour. Sometimes I call my mom too on my walks. And so maybe there's somebody that you can call. Besides that, I do love walking with other people. So I have made walking an event where it is getting me the steps that I need, but I'm also getting social time in that. So while I used to meet friends for coffee or meet friends for lunch or dinner, now we meet for a walk. And it is really great to be able to walk and talk. And again, you get that focused time doing something you really enjoy and you don't want to stop. So you walk more and more and more. And for me, it just kind of tricks my mind. Maybe you're one of the unique people who love working out and you love moving your body. Unfortunately, I was not born with that gene. My natural state is absolutely to be more sedentary, and I would absolutely love to be curled up on the couch with a book way more than doing anything physical or moving my body in any way. So I have to use strategies to kind of trick my mind into thinking, hey, this is gonna be a good time. We need to get it together and do this. And then I do the thing. It is fun, and it just reinforces. It's this positive reinforcement, just continues to build on itself. Everybody might have different things that they need to do to make their walks and their movement exciting, but I think we can all find what works for us. Another point that I want to make about walking is that it is a time investment. When I started walking, I was slow. I just could not walk fast. I walked slow and I took my time. I didn't put pressure on myself to look at my pace or anything like that. But I knew once I got started and once I was losing weight, walking became a little bit easier. And once it becomes easier, you have to do more of it to get the same effects for your body that you were getting before. So while before a 10-minute walk, I am sweating and huffing and puffing, I'm out of breath. Once I started losing a little bit of weight, it definitely took longer to get the same level of exertion. So I was finding every morning when I started my morning walk, instead of a 10-minute walk, before long I was needing a 45-minute walk to get the same exertion. So I do want to encourage you to be honest with yourself and say, am I feeling as tired as I was at the beginning now that I weigh less, I'm more fit, I'm in better shape? And I think that change happens so gradually. You have to constantly reassess and decide how far you need to go. Another way that you can adjust how much effort your walk is taking you is by increasing the elevation. So a lot of people walk on treadmills and will increase the incline. That's a great thing to do. Personally, I hate walking on treadmills and I will avoid it unless I really have to. I have walked on a treadmill maybe 3 times the entire 2 years that I've been walking. And that was when we had like a week of 9-degree weather and it was freezing and icy outside. But beyond that, I will walk outside no matter what the weather, and I much prefer it than walking on a treadmill. I am lucky that we have hills in our area, so I will go walk up and down a big hill. And if I have 15 minutes, walking up and down a hill for 15 minutes is going to give me about the same amount of effort than just walking the flat loop around my neighborhood for 45 minutes. So sometimes I have to make a judgment about what kind of effort I need to put in to get out the desired amount of exertion. Of course, in the beginning, I don't want you to overthink it. I just want you to get out there and start walking. But once you get further along in your walking journey and your weight loss journey and start meeting more of your goals, I think it's important just to keep in mind that you want to be assessing yourself along the way so that you're challenging yourself. And again, it's a delicate balance of challenging yourself in a way that you aren't overexerting yourself so much that you're not going to want to do it tomorrow. Because the key is that this is the kind of exercise that we are going to be doing for the rest of our lives. This is not just something we do on our weight loss journey. This is something that is the kind of exercise that we can maintain for the rest of our lives. You know, I don't know that in 30 years I'm going to be able to do bench press, but hopefully I'll be able to go walking. And so that's why I wanted to start now, so that I can continue this habit hopefully forever. If walking feels too small to matter, I promise you it is not. I didn't lose 125 pounds overnight. It started with just one slow walk, one step at a time. And now it's just part of who I am. If you are on a weight loss journey, or maybe you're starting your maintenance journey, I would love for you to like, comment, subscribe so that I can connect with you, because I have really enjoyed meeting people in real life recently who have lost weight on GLP-1s, and it has been just such a great experience to connect with people and hear other people's stories and realize that while we're all so different and have different lives and are going through different things and everybody has different challenges, we have this unique common thread that makes us kind of like spirit brothers and sisters, and we just have a common understanding of how hard this journey is, no matter what the world might think. That other people might think that using a GLP-1 is the easy way out, that it is a shortcut. And I think all of us who are on this journey know that that couldn't be further from the truth, that losing over 100 pounds is a crazy challenge. It's a unique feat that not many people have done. And I am so proud to be on the other side of that. And I hope that I'm able to share some things that can help people get themselves further down the path of that journey too. From where I'm sitting now, I can look back at the very beginning, at that first day that I went for a walk. And I took pictures of myself all along the way because I was so proud of myself. I was proud of myself just for putting on my shoes and going outside. Like, I didn't even have to walk. I was just proud of myself for taking that first step. Then I was so proud of myself for getting started. I was proud of myself just for making the first step of calling my doctor and getting on a GLP-1 and knowing that I wasn't going to settle for being in a body that didn't match the person I was inside. And taking the first step in walking is really not just the first step in my fitness journey, but really the first step in the journey to figure out who I want to be. And who I want to be is a fun, energetic mom, friend, wife, sister, daughter. I want to be the person, I feel like I was in the past, a semblance of this person, but now I have the gift of maturity and experience and years of life in the world. And so now I feel like here I am at 41 and I have a lot to offer the world, and being able to share my gifts with the world is something that I want to do. And walking was really the very first step in that. It was me taking a step into the world where previously, for the past several years, while I was gaining weight and gaining weight very quickly, I had gained 75 pounds in a year and then kept gaining. And every month that went by that I continued to gain weight, my personality and my aura, my footprint on the world shrunk a little bit more every pound that I gained. And that makes me sad because I knew who I was inside, but I had lost that person along the way. And the walking was a big step. I was getting out there. We had just moved to a new neighborhood, and walking was not comfortable because I did not want to meet my neighbors. I did not want people to see me walking and judge me walking. I just did it knowing that that was the step that I had to take to make the changes that I wanted to make. And just as the weight gain caused me to shrink further into myself, every step that I took along my walking journey, not because of the weight that was coming off, but it really was just me venturing into the world. So every step I took, I felt like I was gaining a piece of myself back. Every step I took was giving me the gift of myself. And every step I continue to take, because I still continue to walk every single day. I make walking a habit every single morning. I do all the things that I did while I was on my weight loss journey now that I am in maintenance, because it is a part of me. These are habits that I'm going to continue for the rest of my life. And every single time I step outside and I go on a walk, I know that it's not just about the walking, it's about finding my place in the world and being able to take up the space in the world that I deserve to take up. And I hope that we all find that. I want us all to have that gift of knowing that we are loved and worthy and deserve to be here in whatever body we have. It doesn't matter about the body that we have. I think that it starts with taking the first step. So we're all starting at different places. You have to start where you are, but hopefully we're all going to meet at the end of this journey in the same place, which is a place where we are happy and healthy and strong and committed to doing everything we can to take care of these bodies that we have. If you are just starting a weight loss journey and are using a GLP-1 and are curious about what this journey might look like for you, especially if you have a lot of weight to lose, like over 100 pounds, I want to encourage you to go back and watch my first video, which I detail step by step how I lost my first 100 pounds and some of the little habits that I put into practice along the way to make that weight loss happen. While walking isn't necessary for weight loss on a GLP-1, and there's no guarantee it's going to change your life, it might just do that. So take the first step and let me know how it goes.